10th grade team. I just wanted to give you a little bit of some ideas, I guess, for this religion seminar. So this is the second video of the For the Life of the World series. It's focusing specifically on the economy of love, which they kind of bring this up as the institution of family. So I'm just going to give you some ideas on how I potentially would facilitate this discussion, and then go from there. So I would probably begin watching the first 2 minutes and 20 seconds of the video. I think it really sets up watching these people talk about what does it mean to love their spouse and identifying what love means. Then I would probably dive into some group conversation about what is love and what is family. And maybe even sparking like what isn't love and what isn't family. Now, I think that, watching the video, if you watched it all the way through, the next part of the video is this discussion on the complicated nature of how do we define marriage. I wouldn't necessarily show that part because really what I wanted to drive students towards is looking at this main purpose of this video, which is how do relationships serve the world? So I probably would start after we had this discussion amongst groups with some share outs about what is love, what is family, what isn't love. I would then move into starting at 10 minutes and 40 seconds where Evan is talking about basically with the woman, I forget her name, that he's like, well, where is a good family in the Bible? And she's like, we have to look deeper at what family is. So there's this dance, and I love this dance. I think it's beautiful. I think it really describes the relationship that God has with himself and Jesus and his people and how he had a relationship with family, with creation. So I probably would watch that all the way through 20 minutes and 16 seconds, which is right before he writes the letter. Because I really think it's really interesting on how the way that he paints the intention for marriage in its ethos rather than how we might define it. And I would really drive students towards the ethos of marriage, what's at the heart of marriage, rather than trying to define it. I think that will produce more fruitful conversation. And then I would continue watching all the way through the family of the Zeisbergs or Zeiswiggles. I don't know what their name is, but I would finish that video all the way up to where Evan's writing the letter, which is at 20 minutes and 16 seconds. And after the video, the questions that I would ask is a question about like, does your family live to serve others? Or have you seen a marriage that really intentionally goes out and makes an impact in their world? And I, as a facilitator, would be really trying to hone in on that. What if that drive to make a difference in the world, both in our own selves and also making a difference and leaving a legacy, and having this heart to make the world better in a family, within our relationships, going out and serving, what if that is an echo of God's heart on how we are supposed to interact with the world? I really want to drive home that there's this idea, I love the words loving, encouraging, and blessing, and what does loving and encouraging and blessing the community around us look like, and maybe even transitioning that into how do you love your community here. You can look at your students as your fellow students. I'd be saying this to students. You can look at your fellow peers as a part of this family. Like, how do you love that Mount Vernon family well? How do you encourage that Mount Vernon family well? How do you bless that Mount Vernon family well? Another question I would maybe ask is if you were to have, be able to actually determine this for your family, who would you serve? Who would be a person, people group, community that you would want to go and serve, to see them have a better life? So that's kind of how I facilitate this discussion. So just to recap, I would start off with the video from the beginning all the way to 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And then I would stop the video and I would connect and remind students that the goal of this video series is to see how God's big story fits into the biggest institutions that we have in our lives. And one of those is love and family. So what is love? What is family? And I'd give them time to talk to each other and maybe post-it notes or writing up on a board just to kind of get their minds prepped. Then I would start the video at 10 minutes and 40 seconds, starting with the dance, and then going through 20 minutes and 16 seconds right before he does the note. And then I would have them consider, what does it look like to think about our relationships in a way that it serves and impacts the world? And specifically, are there examples of families and marriages or friends that have come together to do that specific thing? And then lastly, to bring it home would be, how do we love, encourage, and bless the community that's around us, which is Mount Vernon? So that's probably the direction I would take it. Any other direction is fine, but that's just an idea.